Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Moaning Yorkshireman, and welcome back to the Love-Hate Relationship series. This is 5 things I love about my Chevrolet Matiz, and don't worry, we will be having a look at it outside later. No expense spared. I'm going to show you everything of this car, the absolute babe magnet. So yeah, Chevrolet Matiz, Clunge 9000 is its name. And yeah, you think, oh, posh twat, having 2 cars. If you've not seen this car before, wait until you see the outside of it. You'll think, not so posh after all, is it? This is just my daily driver for work. So anyway, 5 things I love about this car. And the first thing I like about it is it's small, but it's perfectly formed. It's a little adequate vehicle, a 1 litre SE. Oh, sexy. Should have a plus on the end of it, but it's got plastic wheels, not alloy, so it doesn't get the plus. But yeah, small but perfectly formed, and you know what they say. They always say that, you know, the small things are the best, apparently. So there's a 6'2" man that weighs probably about 17 stone, maybe even more after the lockdowns finish, because I'm eating a lot of shit. Yeah, small but perfectly formed. That's the first thing about it. Absolutely delicately balanced, this car. It's beautiful. The next thing I like about it is it's only ever tried to kill me once in 8 years of ownership. The rear stub axle failed on it and sent me sideways across the A1, across 2 lanes of traffic. That was interesting. That I did poo myself, but only once in all that time. I think that's good odds. That I've done some many miles in it. I bought this car at 30,000 miles. It's got nearly 108,000 on it now. All of that mileage is me. So, you know, only trying to kill you once in that time. I love it. Brilliant. You know, bit of drama, bit of tension, bit of excitement, but only once. Perfect. The next thing about it is it's an absolute beast in snow. I experienced this many years ago. What year was it now? 2014, 2015? It was when we had the really bad snow, especially around here anyway. And I was travelling home from Lincoln. And, yeah, let's put it this way, it was that bad that there was Land Rovers struggling. And I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking. It did take me 2.5 hours to get home from Lincoln, which is normally an hour journey. But this car made it. It fucking made it. I was going up hills, down hills, I was on motorways, I was down country roads, just the way to get home. It's the way I do it, and absolutely loved it. I think that's partly why I became so attached to it, actually, because, you know, who keeps their first car forever and then buys a second car and doesn't get rid of this one? And I think that's partly the reason why I fell in love with it so much, because I was like, my God, that really did get me home. And like I said, there were a lot of cars struggling. There was an accident on the motorway while I was travelling down. A car lost control at the central reservation. I was like, I can't stop, otherwise I'm going to get more stuck. So yeah, this car is brilliant for that, and I think that's partly why I fell in love with it, to be honest. But yeah, good thing. Good, I really did enjoy this car in that condition anyway. The next thing is, we said it's small and perfectly formed. The other one is there's no gap too small for it. There is no gap too small for this car. If you think thin, it'll fit, is basically the philosophy of this thing. Adam, back me up on this. Mr. Jiao, he'll be in the comment section watching. We went to Lead Mill and to see Walking on Cars, 2016 it was. And there's only, if you've ever been to Sheffield Lead Mill, there's only like 5 or 6 car parking spaces outside for like 600 people. And there were these 2 cars that had left the tiniest gap. And I mean the tiniest gap. And I was like, I'm not fucking running around, I'm parking there. And there was a queue of people obviously waiting to get into this concert, and me trying to park into there. There was tension, don't get me wrong, there was drama there, because everyone were just looking at me, trying to put this Matiz in that space. Did it fit? Yes, it did. Took me about 12 shunts, but it got in, it squeezed in, and it was perfect. And everyone was just looking on in amazement. I were expecting an applause, didn't get one. But yeah, it fits in any gap. If you believe it'll fit, this car will fit. I just don't really slow down anymore now. 30 mile an hour out, but yeah, Bob Weave around that, I can get around that, no problem. Everyone else has to lift off and jump out the way, because their car doesn't think thin like mine does. And yes, the final thing is, what is the final thing? I've got a note here. Oh yeah, it's this one. This car actually hides how tall I am. Now, I'm 6'2", 17 stone, quite a hefty bloke, and all the length is in my leg. So when I'm just sat here, I've got plenty of headroom still, because it's all down there. Steady on. But yeah, the reason why I mentioned this is because it takes me to a funny story. Of last year, probably about October time, there's some roadworks down the road, and it was causing absolute congestion on this one roundabout. So he was coming out of the Lidl that I live near, but I was already on the roundabout, but he tried to force his way in. And I'm like, why? You've still got to give way to me, whether there's fucking roadworks or not. You still need to give way to me. So, me being in this car, not really caring about it that much, didn't let him in. So I squeezed him and squeezed him and squeezed him, ended up pinning him up against the curb on the outside as we just kept crawling round. To which point then we were both stuck, but my point was made. So he got very, very aggressive. Now, he's just been for a little shop, and he wound his window down and started shouting and hurling abuse at me, saying, why didn't I let him in? I was like, well, you've just answered your own question then. You've got to give way to me. And then he got that angry, he reached over into the back seat of his car, and this is no word of a lie, he started throwing tea cakes at me. He got a pack of 6 tea cakes. He got a pack of 6 tea cakes out of his little shopping and started throwing them at my car. So I let him throw 5. I knew he'd got half a dozen. They never come in 5s. And I wound the window down slightly, the passenger window, and I said to him, throw one more and you're going to see what happens. And at this point then, and grateful for him, it was a good shot. He just managed to get it through the gap that I'd left in the passenger side window. So it chebbed through and came here and it landed on my passenger seat. I was like, right, that's it. It was a damp day, so I picked all these tea cakes up out of my car, or that were on my car, and I picked them all up and I just smeared them all over his windows, jumped back in my car and drove off. But the best thing was, I jumped out this car, he didn't realise how big I was, so I got this big hefty coat on. I came out 6'2", you should have seen his face, like, yeah, you fucking prick, you fucking wanker, you deserve... Oh. Absolutely amazing, amazing. I have never had such a laugh in a car in all my life. So it saved me from that incident there. If it had been in the RX-8, I'd just let him in, because, you know, I'm not that much of a dick with that one. But let me get out, because I'm fucking roasting. Because you see I'm wearing bright red. It's boiling in here. But yeah, I'll show you the exterior of the car and show you a small but perfectly formed vehicle. And there, ow, fucking static. That'll have to win things I hate. But there you go, look. Small and perfectly formed beast. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back on Thursday for 5 things I hate. Much love.